Hey guys, I'm Shelby. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad that you're here today. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Genie Plus and my personal experience with using it, both at Disneyland and at Disney World. And today I kind of want to talk about where I feel like it's worth doing it, what parks, where it's actually beneficial, and where I probably wouldn't use it because, at least from my experience as of right now, it has not been worth doing. So to kind of give you guys an overview, if you're like, I need a little bit more details on Genie Plus, this is not going to be a video going into all of the details, but essentially Genie Plus is a paid service that you can utilize at Disney World and Disneyland. At Disney World, it is $15 a day. And my dog is right here, guys. Just being the most weird, like halfway up, halfway down. I don't know what's going on here. It's fine. So Genie Plus is a service, again, that is paid at Walt Disney World. It is $15 a day, and at Disneyland, it is $20 a day. Now, what this covers is essentially getting you into any of the rides that utilize Genie Plus, essentially for a time slot, right? This is the new version of Fast Pass, right? If you've used Fast Passes in the past, this is the new version of that. It is a paid version. Yes, don't get me started on the fact that it's paid. It is what it is, okay? They are a for-profit company. I'm not worried about that. That is not one of those videos. So essentially what you're looking at is that pass works for all of the parks for that day. So if you purchase a pass at Disney World, right, and you're going to Magic Kingdom but planning to hop to Epcot later, you can utilize that same Genie Plus that you purchased and were utilizing in Magic Kingdom for Epcot later that day. Now, not every single ride utilizes Genie Plus. That is what it is. They are working on adding more of them to them, but a lot of them do, right? A lot of them do. And there is a second tier of individual lightning lanes, which are your top tier rides essentially, and you can pay for those individually. So that's an additional cost. Yes, there is an additional cost. So that's gonna be rides like Rise of the Resistance, the ones that are, you know, a little bit higher up. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom is another one. It is what it is, right? That those are individually priced and Disney can do whatever they want. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't want to get into that. Now, what I am here to talk to you today about is, do I think that it's worth it, and where do I think it's worth it? So I've utilized Genie Plus both at Disneyland and at Disney World. First thing I will say, because I don't think it matters quite as much after this, the one big statement I will say about Disneyland is, if you are a new face at Disneyland, right? Like you are a Walt Disney World queen and you don't go to Disneyland often and you're not there all the time, utilize it. I think for the sake of that, it is worth budgeting it into your trip. For us, you know, I've only been to Disneyland twice. Once I was very young, second was this past January, and we won't be back there for a while, right? We live on the East Coast. Walt Disney World is our home park. So it made sense for us to do it. We utilized it all 3 days that we were there, and we felt like it was very much so worth it. The other thing that was really fantastic, honestly, about Genie Plus there is that a lot of people that go to Disneyland are more local, and so they don't utilize it. They don't pay for it. It's very easy to hop back and forth between the parks, so a lot of people do that. Again, Disneyland, I feel like, is very much more local visitors, whereas Walt Disney World gets a lot of like international visitors and people from all over. So it's just a very different vibe. And so we were able to snag stuff on Genie Plus literally like immediately. So we signed up for it. We didn't get to the park till maybe 11 a.m. our first day because we flew in that morning. And I was able to buy it, because you have to buy it when you get in the park at Disneyland, which is different from Disney World. You can buy it ahead of time for your whole trip at Walt Disney World for all your days, or you can purchase it in the morning at 7 a.m., even if you're not in the park, because most of the parks are not open then. Disneyland, you have to be in the park, and then you can purchase. I don't know why. It is what it is. But for Disneyland, I mean, as soon as we got in the park and I purchased it, there were multiple rides that I was able to book lightning lanes for right then without having to wait, which is just not the case when it comes to Walt Disney World a lot of the time. Now, what was crazy though is that also made it where if we wanted to go eat lunch or we had plans for lunch, I couldn't necessarily always book a lightning lane right away. I needed to wait because those windows are only open for what's available next. So if you wanted to ride something in an hour, and everything that was available and showing up right now was for in the next 20 to 30 minutes, you'd have to wait. So do I still think it was worth it? Absolutely, yes. It's just very different over there. I mean, we were able to ride everything we wanted to. We rode things multiple times. I loved our trip there, and Genie Plus made it very easy for us to do. So if you're going to visit Disneyland and you're not someone who is going to be visiting often, I say yes, every single day, do it. It is totally worth it, especially if you're park hopping, because it does work between both parks. And Disneyland, of course, is much easier to park hop. There is no riding a bus. You exit the park and walk across the street. It's not even a real street. You walk across like the pavement and then you're at the other park. So very easy to do. Now, when it comes to Walt Disney World, it is a very different story when it comes to Genie Plus. Very different, okay? The reason I say that is because, again, I've utilized the individual lightning lanes. I have utilized like the full regular Genie Plus. It's $15 a day. And there are some things that are absolutely worth it. You know, if you're not there for a long time, or if you've got people with you that aren't there often, you know, there may be some things that they for sure want to ride, and it is worth it for you to not have to wait an hour and a half or something in line. For example, I had a girl group of us. There was 5 of us going down for a birthday. We ended up paying for individual lightning lanes for Flight of Passage, and then the rest of the day didn't utilize it. So depending on your situation, one may be better than the other. He wants to be part of the video, clearly. Okay, but certain parks I would say are not, at least as of right now, to me, worth buying that $15 a day pass. It's just not. The one park I'm really gonna say is not worth it is Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios has a lot of rides that are on Genie Plus, but honestly, they go so quickly that it is incredibly difficult. If you are not planning to stay in Hollywood Studios all day and you are planning to hop to other parks, I don't see it being worth it. The one situation that I have seen from watching other people do it that seemed to work well was that if you were planning to go to Hollywood Studios, but maybe not in the morning, and you were planning to do it later in the day, or you were okay with doing it later in the day, that seemed to work better for people, because those things go quickly. And if you're not trying to be there till the evening, which it's just not something we typically do, or we park hop, it just doesn't make sense to do. Rise goes obviously incredibly quickly, Rise goes very quickly. It's an individual lightning lane, but there's so many new rides at Hollywood Studios that park is very busy all the time right now. I mean, very busy. You've got all of the Star Wars stuff. You've got Toy Story Land, which is still very new. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is also still very new. So it's a park that's just got a lot in terms of like new things at Disney. And in all honesty, it's actually not that many rides at Hollywood Studios, like in comparison to Magic Kingdom. So keeping that in mind and knowing that there are not as many options, I don't think it's worth it if you're spending your day at Hollywood Studios, or maybe even like half a day at Hollywood Studios. If you were going to hop, again, that nighttime version I've seen, I believe it was maybe allears.net. I'll tag whoever it was that I watched the video of it. But essentially, actually, I don't even know, because I think it was on YouTube or on Instagram. We may just cut this part out. So the one that I have seen that worked was essentially that they had a park pass for Hollywood Studios for that day. This was somebody who was either local or was, you know, not planning to go until later in the park day. And they booked those for later in the day, and it was okay for them to do later in the day, because that's what's going to show up even at 7:04 a.m. when you are booking them. You're going to end up with times that are not available until 3 or 4 p.m. okay, at Hollywood Studios. So if you're okay with doing that and having more of an afternoon evening in Hollywood Studios, then it could possibly be worth your time. Remember that you can't book them back to back or anything like that. You do have to wait 120 minutes, which is essentially looking at every 2 hours for you to book your next one. So I've seen people be able to stack multiple for Hollywood Studios in the afternoon, evening, but you're likely not gonna have more than one in the morning if you're staying at Hollywood Studios. Parks that I do feel like they're beneficial for are Magic Kingdom. I think Magic Kingdom is a great one because there's so many options there. And at Magic Kingdom, honestly, you've just got enough rides where even if it's maybe not your top ride, you can rope drop some and hang out one area and then plan for later in other areas. I feel like it is worth it for that, okay? Again, not everybody will, but I think Magic Kingdom makes more sense. It's also going to make sense if you're doing a dual park day. Maybe that doesn't include Hollywood Studios unless that's the second half of your day. But even then, it would be hard. So For example, we've done days where it was Magic Kingdom and then Epcot, and been able to book some for Epcot later in the day after doing stuff at Magic Kingdom, or vice versa. And same, honestly, with Animal Kingdom. There's not as many rides at Animal Kingdom, but it's also typically just not as busy later in the day because people go early in the morning and feel like it's more of a half-day park, and so they could leave after that. So if you're going to utilize more than one park per day, then I think that Genie Plus can be worth it for you when you are at Walt Disney World. Now, again, if you've got a family of 4 or 5 and you're going multiple days, maybe you don't want to utilize it every day. Maybe you spend, you know, the first day or 2 going to parks without it, and then you can prioritize the rides that you want to ride later in your week vacation, and utilize Genie Plus to get more in. You know, it can add up when you're doing 5, 6, 7 days in parks. Again, remember that if you are wanting to book it ahead of time, you have to purchase it for every single day of your trip. At least as of right now, that's how they do it. Otherwise, you are individually purchasing them the day of, that morning at 7 a.m. I don't know why they do it that way, but it is what it is. You can drop them and add new ones if you'd like to, but you do need to have like your whole party together. So utilizing the app at this point, the My Disney experience is a non-negotiable for it. You have to utilize the app, so just be prepared for that. So again, in terms of like overview, Disneyland, if you were going to visit there and it's not somewhere that you are at often, I would vote yes for using Genie Plus. For Magic Kingdom, I'm sorry, not Magic Kingdom specifically, but for Walt Disney World, I think it's a very much it depends situation. Do we have multiple days there? How big is our family, and are we okay with that financial cost? Because again, $15 per day per person can be a lot. And are we planning to park hop? Again, if you want to spend more of your day in Hollywood Studios, that day I just wouldn't plan to utilize it unless you're okay with maybe only getting 2 rides out of it. If that's enough for you, then great. But if not, probably not worth it. Again, a dual park day can be very beneficial because you can select rides in other parks, even if you're not there, or if your park pass is not for that park. That's something that we ended up doing our day that we tried to utilize it for Hollywood Studios. We got 1 ride, could not get anything else that was before 3 o'clock, and we didn't want to be in the park that late. Because we wanted to be at Magic Kingdom in the evening. So instead, I started booking my second pass and on for Magic Kingdom rides starting around, I think it was maybe 10:30 or 11. And I was able to stack 3 Magic Kingdom, I was gonna say fast passes, Genie Plus passes for that afternoon. And we were able to add some in between, but hit 5, 6, 7 rides at Magic Kingdom in a half day while also having food and all of that. So I hope that this is helpful for you if you are considering Genie Plus. I think financial things are kind of going to be your first piece, and then also looking at your types of days, what parks you're going to. Are you park hopping in terms of Walt Disney World? But if you have any other questions specifically about Genie Plus, I'm happy to share my experiences. Feel free to drop comments below. I know it's a confusing new system. What I will do is I'll drop a couple of video links also in my description that helped me learn it before I went. And I think that's very helpful because as far as right now, like there is not anything that has changed from those videos. And it can be very confusing if you've never utilized it, or even if you're very new to Disney or Disney World, right? And again, I think that's another piece to consider, is that if you haven't been to Disney World in a very long time, this may really be worth your purchase as well, so that you are able to get a little bit more bang for your buck out of it. If you've got any other questions related to Disney, let me know. I'm happy to help as somebody who's been a pass holder for a while and keeps up with Disney news. I try to do my best to communicate that stuff with you as well as give you guys some fun vlogs and whatnot for when I do go. So if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and you will see more content coming soon. I also am a fitness and nutrition coach fully online. So I do have a lot of videos related to fitness and nutrition. So feel free to check those out as well. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.